Hi, my name is Neb Kamus Sen Atum-Re. This is the 23rd video in this Black History series. This video is entitled The Black-A-Moors, that's you Nubians, in Spain in the 7th century. Musa, the son of Nozir, the Moorish governor of Syria, North Africa, had raided an old enemy in Spain in the 7th century. In July 710 AD, he sent Tarif ibn Zara, ibn Abi Mudri, and 500 more men to make a raid on Julian's 4 ships upon the coast of Andalusia. Tarif returned in July after he successfully accomplished his mission. He had landed at the place which bears his name, Tarifa, which is a small port in southern Spain. Musa was encouraged by Tarif's success, and he resolved upon a larger venture. So in 711 AD, learning that Roderick was busy in the north, Musa sent one of his generals, the Moor Tariq ibn Ziyad ibn Abdullah ibn Wahu, and 700 troops, most of whom were Moors, to make another raid on Andalusia. Tariq landed at Lion's Rock, which became known as Gebal-Tarik. Today is known as Gibraltar. In August 711 AD, Tariq won a victory over the Visigoth army of Spain. It was during this conflict that Roderick, the last Visigoth king, was killed. In 712 AD, they captured Toledo. In 719, they crossed the Pyrenees mountains and entered into France. Thus began the 800-year rule of the Moors in Spain. During this time, the Moors developed the greatest cultural civilization known anywhere in Europe. In the last half of the 11th century, there emerged a powerful dynasty from Senegal, West Africa, known as the Almoravides. They established their capital at Marrakesh, Morocco, and became masters of the new empire that includes Senegal, Morocco, Tunis, and southern Spain. This empire was even larger than Western Europe. At this time, the first general of the Senegalese was Abu Bakr, who was supplanted by a stronger general, Yusuf ben Tachfin. Yusuf's first aim was to construct an elegant capital with marvelous houses, a marble-floored palace, and beautiful flower beds. The city that he built, Marrakesh, or Morocco City, became the name of the country. When Moorish power was declining in Spain, Yusuf crossed the Mediterranean into Spain in order to reinforce Moorish control. He brought 15,000 Moorish troops with him and defeated Alfonso VI with his 70,000 Christians at the Battle of Zalaca. During the wars of the Almoravides, the greatest commander and hero of Spanish literature was slain. His name was El Cid. The Moors were known for more than just conquest. While the remaining part of Europe was in a state of ignorance, the Spanish people took advantage of the knowledge of the Moors. During the Moorish rule, many other capitals of Europe were ghettos. But Cordoba, the capital of Spain, was a booming city. It is said that after dark, one could walk many miles in Cordoba and never pass through a street not lighted by public lights. When a person walked out after dark in London, he had to carry a candle or lantern with him to illuminate his path and had to wear high shoes to walk through the thick mud that covered the roads. While many Europeans were garbed in skins and coarse garments, the Moors were wearing silks, linen, and cotton cloth. They also washed in 900 bath houses of Cordova. The palaces of the Moorish Sultan were far greater in beauty, comfort, and wealth than any of the castles of the ancient kings. The Moors used extremely highly polished marble in their construction. The sides of the walls were permanently carved, and the floors were made of various decorations called mosaics. The Moors were masters of mosaic work. Moorish normal life was based on agriculture, manufacturing, and trade. The Moors brought into Spain rice, cotton, peaches, oranges, and lemons. Culture was introduced into Spain by the Moors, the Anno people, the ancient Tama-Reans. The Moors had fine pottery, glazed tiles, brocades, jewels, and ornamental leather products. The Anno people's civilization had a gigantic effect on Portugal and Spain. This is the reason that these two countries were the first European powers to emerge from the Dark Ages. Now, on the topic of John Hanson, there is something else we would like to add. If you look closely at the haircut of George Washington, you can see that it represents the Namuz, a Tama-Rean Egyptian headdress, which represents the male lion's mane as seen in the symbol of the Sphinx. The combination of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx. This is the symbol of the Order of the Whigs, the Freemasonic order which George Washington was abducted into by Benjamin Banneker, also known as Big Ben Bay. But Benjamin Banneker designed the White House in replica of Casablanca, the White House in Morocco. Benjamin Banneker, whose real name is Benjamin Banner, was the Moor who inaugurated George Washington into Freemasonry at the lodge in Fredericksburg, Virginia on November the 4th, 1752. Benjamin was a surveyor. He helped survey the site of the National Monument between 1791 and 1793 as the assistant to the Major Andrew Ellicott, the appointed surveyor. Proof that George Washington was a Freemason is the fact that he wore a Freemasonic apron, which he thanked Brother Elkanah Watson and Brother M. Cassoul of Nantes, France, for the Masonic apron they sent to him in 1782 in a letter which has been documented. This is before he was sworn into office by Chancellor Robert R. Livingston on April 30th, 1789. This letter can be found in the Masonic Hall in the Chancellor Robert R. Livingston's library and museum. Also, the Bible upon which George Washington took his oath of office as administered to him by Chancellor Robert R. Livingston, who was the Grand Master of Masons in New York at the time, is also found in this Masonic Hall as an altar Bible of St. John. It became known as Washington's Bible. This historic Bible has been used at 4 other presidential inaugurations: Warren G. Harding in 1921, Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1953, Jimmy Carter in 1977, and George Bush in 1989. The Grand Lodge of New York was organized under the warrant issued by the Ancient Grand Lodge of London, England, dated the 5th day of September 1781, in the 7th year of the Grand Mastership of the 4th Duke of Atholl. George Washington wore this apron as the master of the Alexandria Lodge, and also at the laying of the cornerstone of the national capital. Robert R. Livingston was the Chancellor of the Continental Congress. This title, Chancellor, is the same as the Chief Justice. This title is used mainly in the British or European countries. This is the office that administers the presidential inaugurations. And then, the Washington Monument. People, it was Thutmose III, a Nubian Moor, a Negro of Ancient Tama-Re, Egypt, who erected 2 obelisks, which we call Techenu, around 1450 BC, bearing his achievements. One of them now stands in Central Park in New York City. It is often called Cleopatra's Needle. Apart from being the great builder of the so-called Cleopatra's Needle, Thutmose III also embarked on the building of the great temple of Amun, which was called Digisir Achet, meaning Holy Horizon. He extended his empire down to Nubia, to the 4th cataract, during his 47th regnal year. This is recorded on the Gebal-Tarik. There in Nubia, he built with the same energy as he fought with against Mitanni, the name of the Hurrian Hyksos Canaanite civilization, which was of the time with the Kassites in Babylon. He built in Tama-Re, on Heliopolis, and also numerous sites in the Delta. Thutmose III was a great warrior, whom later the Roman generals like Napoleon Bonaparte, and even to this day, the generals of the USA copy military strategies from. He was a balanced man, thanks in part to his stepmother and queen, Pharaoh Hatshepsut, who made sure he had a proper upbringing. Some of his major hobbies were sculpture, poetry, and botany. So in the years of Thutmose III's reign, the last years of Thutmose III's reign were rather peaceful. And this, our Nubian ancestors' supremacy, was being recognized all over the world. He also restored and pursued the building programs undertaken since the time of Thutmose I, whose architect was called Enine, and he initiated the transformation of the temples. These so-called Cleopatra's Needles were used to adorn the entrance of the Temple of the Sun at Heliopolis in Ancient Tama-Re. These Techenu obelisks, or Cleopatra's Needles, were made from rose red granite of the Aswan area of Upper Tama-Re. In the 19th century, these Techenu were stolen from Tama-Re and erected in Paris, London, Rome, the Vatican, as Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., and in New York City's Central Park. The city of Washington, D.C. also has a number of architectural and symbolic elements which can be directly linked to a Nile Valley counterpart. The Washington Monument stands in the approximate center of the horizontal and vertical axis of the cross and was to be aligned to the prime meridian on 16th Street in Washington, D.C. This or there is an interesting similarity between the mirrored image of Washington Monument in the reflecting pool and the reflection of the Tekhennu of Queen Hatshepsut and Thutmose I in the sacred lake of the temple of Karnak. This ends today's video. We hope you learned something from this video. We urge you to share and to subscribe to the only channel where you will learn true ancient Egyptian mysteries. No more lies, no more guesswork. So share, subscribe, click on the like button below. See you at the next video.